Nah.
It's the best. New, real, cool. Rockin' your world radio station with more rockin'. Tony Caravan.
You've been subjected to a highly sophisticated form of propaganda.
It's just what you do, not what you don't.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, folks, and welcome to the 100th. That's right, 100th consecutive show. Tony Caravan Live. You got it.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
And for some of us,
This is a nightmare. It must be a nightmare.
and let's go through some of our classic audio clips.
Rock Flux Live.
Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
Well, let's hear it.
Insert your station call letters here.
Here we
Go.
I gotta go.
Hey, don't think this sounds really cool. Let's roll. Go.
Ah, yeah. I realized yesterday, 100, man. 100 shows. So that means that if you have come along with us all along in this online seminar, whatever you want to call it, these classes, these episodes, you have received and earned yourself a doctorate of truth. Ph.D. Let's read that for you. It is 4:36 a.m. on May 19th in the calendar year 2021 for those watching this in the future. And the certificate, which is available at TonyCaravanLive.locals.com. And you got to become a member, give $1 or whatever. You get one of these and frame it, print it out. And you can print it out in if you have a Mac, you can use your preview and then just add text here in a calligraphy font, your name, or you can open it up in Windows Word or something like that and do the same thing. Get a ginormous, as they say, frame. And this certifies that you, whoever you are, has successfully completed the doctorate program Ph.D. in 21st century human behavior / indoctrination, conditioning, and propaganda by the global corporatocracy. Doctor of Truth. Did you ever think you would have the name doctor before your name or Ph.D. after it? And let me tell you something about that. It's the same with Esquire. I'm an Esquire. Okay. And I wonder if I have it here. Every show, you want to be totally prepared. And for your 100th show, we should have confetti going off and all that stuff. But it's Tony Caravan Live, and that's just not the way we roll, as they say. But you could see how dark everything is, Even the on-air lights, barely lit. Because it's black. The night is as black as the night's going to get. That's from believe it or not, I think it's from a Barry Manilow song from the 70s or the 80s. It's currently 54 degrees outside the studio. And today's going to be another sunny day, another beautiful day. It's going to get up to 82 degrees here in the mid-Atlantic states, Ohio Valley, Appalachian Mountains popping through. That's where I hang. And tonight it's going to be 57. Last night I left my bedroom window opened all night long. And I slept fine. And even though I got up at 3:30 today, I went to bed around 7:30. The time and I was up once, blah, 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 blah. I don't think I got a full 8 hours, but I got close to 8 hours. So I should be okay. And this caffeine should help out a little bit as well. But yeah, that's the story on that.
I am your main connection to the switchboard of souls. I'm the magic man.
Yeah, caffeine helps. But anyway, as we always do on these shows, and there's no reason the 100 show won't be different. Now, I think we'll have a few things different that we'll bring in to help celebrate the milestone. But I looked in my refrigerator before I went upstairs. I usually go upstairs around 3:00, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And for those unfamiliar, again,
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
I usually start the show off with some personal, anecdotal things. So, anyway,
We'll have to remodulate our signal to match the network's interlink frequency.
that's what you're going to have to do, not me. And I bet you don't have one of these. We'll talk about that. So, around 3:00, I go upstairs. You get up at 3:30 in the morning. Think about it, right? You go up 3:30. That's 12 hours. You put in a 12-hour day already. And then I go up, and that's when I usually watch some YouTube on TV and, take care of business. I took a shower and that kind of stuff because I was out in the garden yesterday and I planted some squash and, yellow squash and zucchini, and of course watered all my plants. The crows are out though, and this happens every year at this time. The crows are out in full force. And, some people say robins, cute little robins, right? Some people say robins are like bird rats, and they could be really mean. I thought I saw a chipmunk yesterday, but last year I watched a robin just terrorize a chipmunk. I mean, they're not nice birds. They look cute, but they're not nice birds. But people will tell you, and if I had a bigger audience, there'd be people steaming right now. But it is true that a crow is one of the smartest birds, and as far as the body is concerned, the size, the percentage wise, the size of the brain of the crow compared to its body, like the human brain, whatever, it's comparable to a human. Crows can actually talk. They have sophisticated language. They supposedly mourn their dead. They work in concert. And you know what a big group of crows is called? A murder of crows. And, just in case you didn't know, I had a song out, or have a song out, that is called The Conspiracy of Ravens. So you have a murder of crows and a group of ravens. It's called The Conspiracy of Ravens. I hesitate playing this because I once played it before and I got a copyright hit and I had to go through this thing because somebody used the beat in it. So I don't think I'm really going to play that. I can't do that.
It's an excursion into the odd and into the very, very different.
So I go upstairs at 3:30, or planning to go upstairs at 3:30, something like that. And I look in the refrigerator and I realize, oh no, because remember I talked about maybe I was going to stop drinking caffeine because I'm on this thing where I'm determined to lose 20 pounds in less than 30 days. So I don't think I was going to start right now. It's like the person that wants to quit cigarettes. Actually, you can almost see that bruise on the arm in that light from my fall. The fall of man. Look at the refrigerator. Hey, I got no diet this, diet that, drink. So I go to this Instacart place, this thing I've used once before, and I talked about it, and I'm not sponsored by anything. Remember, I'm demonetized. I don't make any money. You people are so cheap, you won't even buy my mug. You won't buy my shirts. That shirt in the background right now, everything is wrong above the TV image of the screen. I was clipping a hangnail in case you're wondering. Or the classic shirt, you don't know what you don't know. TonyCaravanLive.com. Go there and get something. Support the effort. It's the 100th show. You know? Get your thing. And I'll tell you what, if you don't want to go to TonyCaravanLive.locals.com, excuse me, and become a part of the community, which I highly recommend you do. It's a cool thing, you know. Ruben set this thing up. I don't know if he has partners or how the deal works, but it's a new community. All right. And anyway, I post all my videos there as well, plus some other videos that you don't see. And I'll be adding more and more comments. And I have a copy of this, but it's for members only on there. But since it is the 100th show, if you buy a morning show, let's see if I can get this up, this microphone, all these tubes and wires. If you get a morning show mug, which also is available in a ceramic coffee, traditional coffee mug and travel mug. If you get I don't know why the heck, just suddenly it's so dark. If you get one of those everything you know is wrong t-shirts, all right, or you buy anything through Great Solar Stuff, okay, any of this cool stuff, or if you get the classic shirt, you don't know what you don't know, and just email me that you got it, okay, then I will send you a PDF file, reply with a PDF file of your Ph.D. How does that sound? So either join the locals community and kick in $1 or $5 or something like that. And my local community, TonyCaravanLive.locals.com, or go to TonyCaravanLive.com and get some swag. Let me know. I'm pretty sure. Let's just check something out here just to make sure. Let's go to Caravan.com. I might as well show you this while I'm doing this. Patience. What I'm doing. Okay. That's what my website looks like, TonyCaravanLive.com. You can see it you should be able to see it in the background. And you can see that my book's available there. You can listen to some of my music just right through the site. There's the wearables. And like I said, you don't know what you don't know. There's the links there. And of course, you could also see the morning show mug. It's like a water thing, travel mug. There's also a ceramic mug, some of my older books. And there's also a link to GreatSolarStuff.com, which is my other site. And that's where I have like this, which is controlling the on-air light and the TV thing. And I also have this is a thing of the little green radio I'll turn on as soon as I'm done doing this thing. Check that stuff out. Let's see how that was looking. So you got a pretty good idea of that. One of the things I wanted to do today, however, just put this aside. It gets hot. I wanted to go to YouTube, see it doubly go to YouTube and show you something, because this is annoying to me. You just go to YouTube. I don't know if I get up to YouTube simultaneous, if this has got to freak things out. Now, we're going on YouTube. All right, so here's YouTube. So here it actually has that there's one person watching. That's our show. Now, this is some of the stuff that's coming up. This guy here broke his ribs trying to build a log cabin for his mother. This guy obviously is plants that can intercrop, blah, 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 kind of a poser. This is Hannah Lee Dugan, 259,000 views. She gets up to 1 million views. You should check her out. She's not only hot, but she's kind of goofy and funny and stuff. She's an interesting character. It's a real character. But, you know, look at this kind of nonsense. That's clickbait. Unspeakable there. I don't know how those people get away with it. If I said something like that, you know. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I think he's goofy. Henry Rollins has gotten into the posing clickbait thing. Yeah, look at this. Completely, you know, these orchestrated, posed, goofy things. Even, you know, Sean James, who I still follow because he's building a new cabin. But, you know, just goodbye, you know. Of course, it's about him leaving his old cabin. Working for the enemy. Look at this. This is that's Hannah Lee. Oh, that's not a pose. Look what happened. I used to watch that guy, but he just became a big poser. Sorry for keep showing you pictures of the bottom. And this guy's man. This guy's such a goof. He's a lie. This guy's a liar. He's a fraud, man. The guy makes me sick. I called him that to his face once, and he replied to it. Replied to me. And this poor guy who they took off the air, who called everything right. Anyway. I just wanted to go through that. Isn't that insane? And that's not even that bad. It was actually worse this morning. You know, when I first turned on to get to, because I have to go through that portal to get to this, the on air to go live. And there was even some more fantastic poser, crazy lunacy. So I thought we would do kind of a retrospective review of some of the things, excuse me, that we've done over the last 100 shows. You know, like the caffeine's supposed to wake you up, but it's like I'm crashing almost. I don't know. But for those who haven't been around, this is a technically electromagnetic radiation tester. You see that red light flashing? because I'm pointing it near the computer and I'm just hanging out here. That above it, you can't really see it. It says harmful, and the field numbers are just going up. Okay. Now watch. It stops. Now, if you recall earlier video, I had the cat, a futon over there, like a little resting spot. The cat hangs out there. Just to show you this thing isn't, watch. Get to the computer equipment. Computer equipment. Out the window. There's a window there to the outside. It stops. Back here. Because my fuse box and my outside that wall, that window is the what do they call it? It's the new power meters. They're the digital and all that stuff. And then of course behind me is electronic equipment. And now I'm facing, technically you can't see. It looks like I'm facing that, but I'm not. I'm actually facing the way the camera is, the futon. Come back here. Electromagnetic. This is an actual, something a scientist would use in the field. All right. I showed that once before, but it was a long time ago. So by me doing these shows, not only do I not make money, but I've exposed myself 100 days straight to danger, to what it says actually on there, harmful electromagnetic radiation. Yeah, I must really love you guys. And that's not talked about by hardly anybody. Like occasionally some fringe people like bring it up. But they're the same type of guys that also like do too much of the woo-woo stuff. And the one guy who dresses up in costumes and stuff. And I brought this up recently, and did a featured show on it, but it's worth putting back up. That's where we're headed. All right. That's what you should be afraid of, not some thing. Okay. And where are our superheroes when we need them? All three have been canceled. And that's all I have to say about that. So let's get into the show. Live streaming on YouTube. And you'll probably, since it's still 4:57 a.m. in the morning, Eastern Standard Time in the former United States, most people probably won't see this show until hours from now. If you can't read the Show Me This Way to the Beach, this title again is our 100th show, exclamation point. Today we reach a milestone of 100 consecutive live broadcasts every day. That adds to the list of over another 100 videos posted on this channel previously. This calls for some big scratching. I used to have a cut for that, and I don't have that on this computer. But anyway, you get the idea. You know that face when your dog or cat is scratching? This calls for some big scratching. A flow of consciousness ensues. And that's what today will be. A flow of consciousness ensuing. So, as you can see, you can see the bruise on my arm from when I fell right there. Of course, with the muscle there. Muscle man. So, everything is wrong. basically. And what you don't know, you don't know. And to keep that out of the 100 show is, it's just impossible. This was that green thing.
Clear. The temperature was 59 degrees, the dew point 40, and the relative humidity 49%. The wind was calm. The pressure was 30.34 inches and steady.
And so it's not only a NOAA radio flashlight, it's a thing I showed you on the Tony Caravan Live. There was a link to it. There was a link to this thing. That was Eyes Without a Face that I just bashed in the face. A link to this. And just to show you, this is actually, watch the on-air light. See, this is actually powering USB here, but next to the USB is actually a regular standard plug that you could just plug in an appliance. TV, computer. You could be simultaneously charging your smartphone, having some lights on, a fan if it's summertime, and running your laptop from this thing. With the power in a power out situation, you could do that for hours. For hours. And you could charge it in your house by plugging it in, charge it on a simple solar panel outside, or go to your car and charge it off your car battery. Now, why wouldn't you want one of those things? Considering we have people living in Tornado Alley and hurricane land, then we have winter storms, right? And then we have just general accidents that occur where some stupid idiot is texting and driving, hits a telephone pole, and the power goes out for hours. Some moron. One of the majority functionally illiterate people we have out there in this world, particularly in the former US of A. But I'm amazed that on my thing here, I have Bluetooth not connected, so this actually will broadcast, but it gets hot. I'm holding the same thing you're seeing over there. The old iPhone. And yesterday when I was watching the playback of my of the show, I'm going to plug the power cord in here, or the charger. And just to see if I can hold it at 77, because in the course of human events, we're going to go do stuff. And if you don't like the way this show's going,
Go ahead and shoot. You'll be doing me a favor.
yeah.
Okay.
She thinks it's funny. Yeah.
Here's what's happening.
So I got another one of these. Let's see if I can get into focus. Capital One. Congratulations. You've been selected to receive this special offer. Congratulations. Now, I already got a card from them. This is the part, where I do this,
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
just to keep you aware of what's going on. This is the part where I open mail sometimes. I have a song where I do this thing. Let's see if I have it on here. It's it was a song I wrote for a movie. Come on, is it on here? Identity Crisis. 2 hours of show. Lies we ignore. No, man.
Hey, it's me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, man. I was looking for this thing. Let's see if it's under Surrealistic Nightmare. Yeah. This is a crazy song I wrote. This is the way it would have originally sounded in the movie, but it's a cool tune. It's like a 125 beats per minute. Listen to the. That's me doing. You can hardly hear the vocal on it. That was one of my like club beat songs. I did a few of those. Like I've messed around with a lot of different stuff. I mean, even this kind of stuff.
It's one thing to be a wage slave.
That kind of stuff.
The cruelty of this society.
I got so many different sounds, that it's crazy. I mean, if you really think about it, because if you get into songs like this, it's just a whole different world. Anyway, back to the mail. Why you were selected for this offer. Let's see what they say. This credit card offer is only sent to a well-qualified group of people. You meet our initial criteria and your application is more likely to be approved for this Capital One Platinum MasterCard. For more details, scan your QR code, or go to, some location. I mean, I'm half tempted to just get it, I did get one credit card, and it actually came in, even though I swore off them. This is $26.99, so 27% interest. The one I got has lower interest, so this is too high. But at least unlike those other really super fraudulent ones, this one has no annual fees. Like some of the cards these people get, they give them like a $300 balance, and they immediately take out like $125 and are charging them like 36% interest on that $125 the day they get the card. And if they go out and buy something, they're like overbalance, and they're like within a couple months, they're the magistrate's knocking on their door. You're pre-qualified, zero annual fee, blah, blah, blah. Scan this QR. See, what I don't like about this, though, is that for the porch thieves, they have this scan this QR code. They have obviously your name, address. You're pre-qualified. There's all kinds of... so let somebody go through my garbage. I got a cat. There's cat litter in my garbage and stuff. You don't want to sort through that stuff. Really. This is an old show from 20 years ago I did. I just like to hear the beginning of it.
Humans as pets.
That was the title of a show. Tony Caravan Live, talking... My shows from ages ago were amazing. I mean, really.
Hey, it's me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. We're trying to get through the 100th show. It's not going to be that much different than our normal shows. I mean, I was thinking of calling, making a few phone calls. But the problem is... a couple of people I think calling are in like different time zones. So it's like 5 a.m. here. It's like 4 or 3 a.m. there. So I'd have to like wake somebody up. It would just be too weird. I don't know anybody. I don't like really talk to anybody around these parts, My chair. And my thigh's still hurting. But it's improving, and I was able to use the shovel yesterday with my with this leg, the leg on this side, to dig out a little portion of the lawn, overgrown growth, to add another spot to put in one of my plants. But I'm worried about these damn crows. This murder of crows. Really mean, I've got these little baby finches. Sometimes as many as like dozens and dozens of them. And they live here. They call them house finches. And they kind of live in my house. Like in the gables, whatever. And I like them. They're cute little birds. Tiny little things. Real tiny little things. And they have these great little songs. And you can see them and they look at you. And they have a little pond where they take their little baths. And their little throat like goes when they're whoa, singing their little song. And these crows come along and they like swoop down and whatever. It's like, it's not just human nature that's bad. It's predatory nature in general, in the so-called animal kingdom, which we're a part of. I was talking with my mother yesterday. She's watching this show. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going to expose you to anyone. But I forget what we were talking about. No. I was talking about the importance of, or we were talking about the importance of, the idea that people try to tell you how to live your life. Carbonation at 5 a.m, excuse me. That's about the best way. Little tip. To hide a belch on national TV. And this is this is globally. This is a worldwide webcast, going out there.
The only station that matters.
But the idea is that people tell you something, people give you advice. It's not like me. Like I don't advise you to do anything. I share like anecdotal stories and tell you things I've done and say things like, you could, like yesterday's show. I thought there were some good takeaways from yesterday's show. The idea that you can improve your life not by adding things or spending more, but by removing things from your life. Actually, you can improve your life. So in other words, I share that idea. It's cheaper and easier to live a better quality of life, right? I.e., cut the cord, to the, the news junkie and social media, save money. This is my mail coming in. Car thieves. From recent, they got a picture of some guy. Yeah, that looks like the guy they're saying. The morning show, our 100th show. YouTube should send me something for that. They won't. They only send things out when people get 100,000 followers or something like that. Subscribers. I got I don't know, I have 26 subscribers, or 30 some subscribers. But the idea was that, people who advise you, right? And it's like, they don't know you. I mean, you may personally know who you are, or could even be related to you. But they don't know your life. Your inner thoughts, your process, your daily routine. The things that are most important to you are not things that are usually visible to even family and friends on the surface. You know, your inner thoughts, your consciousness, as we talk about, your soul. They don't know, you know, what's going on in there. All they know is what's going on in maybe your bioelectrical brain. That's if there may be a shrink, or what they see on the outside. But they don't know. They don't know you. You are detached from this robotic android body. And, you know, people have got, you know, they advise you, tell you what to do. That's why this whole thing that's happened in the past year to me is so farcical, ridiculous, and abhorrent. Because they're telling us. And that, you know, and that's why, you know, so many people fought and died for this country, because it stood against all the things they did over the past year, which happened to coincide to political administration. So you understand there is no politics. There are two sides of the same counterfeit coin. You know, get that through your head, you maniacs. Right? I'm surprised Henry Kissinger isn't in the current administration. You people are useless eaters. And Bill Gates and his wife are getting a divorce because he cheated. You know, I mean, fortunately, you know, because I can't imagine anyone cheating with her or whatever she is. She is. The she-male, right? Can't even say that stuff. It's a sci-fi movie. This is a LARP, a live-action role-playing game. That was a movie from the 1950s. I could even pull it up for you people who don't know. 1950s movie, she-male. She-male, vintage, mature, 1950s. 1950s classic, old search. 1950s vintage porn. Yeah. I knew it had something to do with the 1950s. So, there you go. I was talking factual matter, not referring to some social justice warrior. You know, it's funny when you watch Wonder Woman, you know, when I hear social justice warriors and you see these like wimpy soy boys or these girls with the pink hair type stuff on the street, and they're like wimpy, like this is like they're the last girls in the world anyone would be interested in. And like people, like as if these are the, you know, feminists. I saw something today, that's why I was holding the camera up to the thing, because it had like Amy Goodman, who I used to actually support money to Democracy Now, because at least she used to be, some of the causes was, it was like when the ACLU, I used to support the ACLU many years ago, 10 years ago, because they used to be like kind of nonpartisan. You know, they would go after any, you know, anybody who was being, whose civil liberties, not rights, civil liberties were being violated. And she used to, you know, she was similar. In fact, in one of my books, I give her some accolades. But there was some thing where she was standing in front of a crowd, and it had something like females' rights or females something or other like that. And I'm going like, come on, the feminist movement was over. But everyone in the crowd, to bring this back to like Wonder Woman, when you see those like Amazon women, you know, goddesses in that original Wonder Woman, I know they remade it or something, I think. Excuse me. Like I said,
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
You got to take the wheat with the chaff or whatever. And you had these like tall Amazon, beautiful woman, perfect complexion, right? And then you compare it to a bunch of these women about, 5 foot tall, grotesque, who are, apart from Amy Goodman, who's getting up there in age now, but everyone else in the crowd wasn't even born, doesn't even know that there was a feminist movement and it was successful. It's like these people in this BLM stuff. They don't even know who Martin Luther King Jr. was, right? They weren't around. I was around during the civil rights movement. On one of my books, I got an ice cube in my mouth. Oh, this one. I got so many frickin' books. This is my second book. That's a picture I took. I showed this before. That was the March on I took that picture. That's the March on Washington 2. And if it's hard to really tell, but there's just thousands and thousands of people around there. This like deals with some of my DC days. It's me with the cowboy hat on. But they don't even know. Yeah, got a tank top on. Because I'm going out this afternoon sunbathing in my backyard. So, got to get a tan. I can't go out with shirtless because my neighbors are too nosy. I got some freaky, perverted old bag of a neighbor who was like, I had to put up like a thing on my fence because she used to be just like spying on me, leaning over the fence while I'm laying out in the sun and spouting out, her ignorance, means that every third word has to be profane, that kind of stuff. So I can't even really sit out, lay out in the sun and feel comfortable just laying out in a bathing suit, getting a suntan. I have to actually have like a partially cover myself up just so I feel relaxed and, somewhat comfortable enjoying myself. It's okay. I have grapevines on both sides of my thin, long backyard. And it's starting to fill in, and I've got an apple tree, and I've got I even let like a maple tree. I'm letting a maple tree grow. I'm trying to keep it trimmed a little bit, but I'm going to let that get big. And I've got this other tree I'm growing. Though it was part of it was like kind of growing over on her side on the fence, which is harmless. It's this tree. And she took some great pride in like cutting this tree right up to the fence line. Which actually you shouldn't do, and you're not supposed to trim a tree. Either you trim it, early spring before, the sap starts flowing, or in the fall. Not while it's, because you could kill it. I mean, she may well have. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, the thing doesn't die. And she had this gleeful fucking expression on her face with like some other woman sitting. Just like 3 grotesque women, like that Da Vinci painting, 5 grotesque heads, right? Let's see if I can have that. Let's find it. 5 grotesque heads. The search on Apple is just so ridiculous. It just drives me crazy. Did I use the number 5? Here we go. This is a decent size one. Give you an idea. I'm talking about. Take this out. Now suddenly my camera's not working. It died. Right. 5 grotesque heads. Leonardo da Vinci. That one right there actually looks like the lady. I promised I wouldn't make fun of people, but she cut down my tree. She's all up in arms because I basically blocked off ways for her to spy on me. Imagine that. To be that nosy. And she's like bent out of shape. It's like, and it's like from somebody like me who studies human behavior and that kind of thing, profiles people, for a living, and did it for many years. I mean, but she hangs around with people that are of the same ilk, so they don't see the obviousness of it. The only person that got it is this doctor, female doctor, who I know. And I briefly was talking about this, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I know what you're talking. I know," and she knew, because she was in the neighborhood. It's a long story. I don't want to give away people's names and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
The future. He came from the future, and so do I.
But you said that he wasn't human, that he was some other kind of being.
Another world and another time.
Another world and another time.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Hey, it's me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay now. Let's get on with the show. On with the Bugs Bunny show. I was thinking of trying to find a remember that? That was going to be my 100th thing, but couldn't find it. And I figure, man, that would have been a copyright strike for sure. Without a doubt. These people are crazy.
We're on a mission from God. Next time it may be different. You believe me, boy, there'll be a next time. You believe me, boy, there'll be a next time. That's gonna be fine.
Every day's a fun day is what that was supposed to say. That was one of those tattoo put together liners, drops, sound effects, whatever you want to call them. Hey, Tattoo, if you're watching this show, I was going to give you a call, but I figured it's the middle of the night where you are, so I didn't. Though I am set up to do a thing like that, which is ridiculous. And I know you're not watching. So anyway, I'm still slightly struggling with the leg, but it's healing very fast, very fast. Had a salad yesterday with some red lettuce from my garden. So everything worked out fine. So like I was saying, it was a beautiful day yesterday, and today is looking like it's going to be a beautiful day again. And if you to enjoy a beautiful day, because not every day is a beautiful day, and depending on your life, whether it doesn't even matter what age you are, some days are stressful, some days you're in pain, some days you're sick, some days you're worried about something. Some days it's just a miserable day, the weather's messed up, it's cold. Heck, for 25% of the people are still hiding out in their houses because a bunch of liars have scared the crap out of them. So every day's a miserable day for those poor saps, But when you have a beautiful day, excuse me, talking early in the morning. When you have a beautiful day, you got to enjoy it. And like I say, you can't see in the lighting here because what lighting is there? And you saw when I do this kind of thing, it just like, it's just not. I don't have. See, what you need to do. I've been in the entertainment business and I film things. I know the setup you need, but it's like this set works for me. There's my book Codex down here, which I recommend people get. And there's the stuff I showed you from my website that's on Great Solar Stuff. That's the Eyes Without a Face mannequin head. I think you figured out what that's all about. They're not going to end that. So this isn't a bad set. The on-air light's working. Within the next half hour or so, there'll be some light coming in from the window on this side, which will start to illuminate things a little bit more. But this, like I said, this show's strictly a flow of consciousness. I just wanted to recap some of the stuff that we talked about. We talk about, this is the show that brought the word corporatocracy out. We've talked about that so many times. I think every show I mentioned the word corporatocracy. Big tech and big pharma and, et al. And, in recent episodes, I've got into this idea that the world is being run by an organized crime syndicate. I was laying in bed as I was trying to go to sleep last night, thinking, okay, what am I going to do something for the 100th episode? And then I thought two things. It's like, one of the things that I used to criticize in the past was this idea of milestones in general, right? So why is it, think about this. This is just a little thought experiment, thought exercise, Why do we think that, certain things with the zero on them are any more significant than things that don't have a zero on it, right? Come on down to the car lot for our 10th anniversary sale, right? Yeah. It's your 50th wedding anniversary. You made it. Right? Now, the 25 sometimes come in there too, right? 25 and 75, right? We've been in business for 25 years. In order to celebrate 25 years of service to our community, we're offering 25% off our extra large pepperoni pizza. Right? 75% going out of business, 75% sale. No, that doesn't make sense. It's the old marketing thing. We're going out, big bold letters, right, on a building, going out for your business, right? So people think it's going out of business sale. Going out for your business sale. Going out for your business sale. But this idea of like 100, like who cares? What's the difference between 99 and 100? What's the difference between 101? See, there's some kind of psychological thing, or there's some kind of conditioning that's been put into us for these milestones, right? With the programming, our pre-existing programming. It's just like an animal that has, this thing is annoying. Let's see if I can do this. There's a string here. See that? Got it. That was bothering me. Anyway, like a cat, cat buries it, there's certain things that, animals do. They're not conditioned. Conditioned is the more of the Pavlovian thing, because we can condition animals to do stuff just like they condition humans, and they're doing to kids right now, school system. But it's, it's the idea they're pre-programmed to function in a certain way. And there's no Darwinian answer to that sort of stuff. If you try to figure out some DNA type of thing. Right? It's like, you have to be a cat owner to know it. Like, well, my cat will go to the litter box. If you don't know what a litter box is, it's where they do their business. And I have it in a corner. So there's like two walls. And then on the other side of it is I get litter boxes. I get the litter in these, like, I don't know what, 2 gallon or whatever, they're containers. So it's like kind of a thing. Looks like a gas can. Like you've ever seen those gas can things, but maybe a little smaller with litter. So the litter box is like literally in a corner, and on the other side, it's got like I use the litter box as a wall kind of thing, just to keep that all contained. And what the cattle do is the cattle do its business, right? But it's programmed to bury it, okay, with its paw. And it will go to the wall or the litter box and scrape. Well, obviously scraping on the wall isn't going to cover the thing. So in other words, there's some sort of programming in that, biological unit that we call a cat that's, that says, that's programmed it to do that. Because it's not doing it. There's no logic to its action. Do you see? That's very interesting. And many animals do that, and humans have weird things like that as well. And so, these are just fascinating things. And this is part of what I call, when I call the subconscious, the subhuman android bioelectric brain, the body electric, as opposed to the consciousness, the soul, the spirit. All right, which is what you really are. And that you've got to get, claim control of you. Right? Your consciousness, your soul, that's who you are. The rest is this programmed, intelligently designed android body. It's programmed to reproduce itself. And basically, and I say this half-heartedly, but that, whose job it is to exhale CO2 and provide fertilizer for the main life form on the planet, which is the trees. Yesterday or the day before yesterday, whenever it was, I got to go to the nursery. I was driving. And like I say, I'm in the heart of this. The Appalachian Mountains are all around me. Right? That's like I'm surrounded by them. And it's almost as if there was some great deluge or something. It's like if you stand on like I go up in my attic, I have a really good high view because you're like almost 4 stories up. This building is ridiculous. That's why I have a roof problem. But that's another story. My chair's falling down. And I can't get up. And I could look around and it's all mountains. So it's like this thing could be conceivably filled in and be like a lake that would be, I don't know, a couple 100 feet deep or something. You know, scary lake. I live in a scary lake. But when I was in the car, I said, look, because everything's green now. You know, we finally hit it. Spring has sprung, finally, after 2 months of misery. Like I said, we'll review all the things we talked about, like the fake climate, global warming thing. We get 6-7 months of winter and 1 month of spring, 1 month of fall. And they're telling you it's global warming. And other parts in the southern hemisphere, right? Same story. So unless you're in the Arctic or you're at the equator, you know, right in the tropics have always been hot. I lived in Florida. It was hot, hotter than hell, miserable, humid, hot. I've been to Hawaii like 3 times, hot, humid. I lived in Southern California. It's hot. It's a desert out there, so it's kind of dry. You know, I lived out there. When I lived out there, I told this story a long time ago in one of these 100 shows that used to be a song in the 70s. It never rained in Southern California or something like that. And the 1 year I was out there, I lived out in LA a couple of times. In fact, 3, yesterday I said I lived and worked in LA 2 times, but I actually lived and worked in LA 3 times, I think. Yeah, the first time I went out. Well, the first time I was out there for a year or so, something like that. It was like my first time out in LA. And an entire year passed and it never rained once. Never rained once. And that was way back, right? You know, that was like 80s. You know, before the globe, because they were still talking about they were talking about, is there going to be another ice age, right? So that was before, you know, Al Gore, you know, was even, you know, in office or anything, you know, or any of this stuff. And I was out there. So you talk about, you know, they talk about global warming and stuff. No, I remember a year in Southern California where it, you know, and this was earlier 80s. Okay. It was my first time out there. You know, as I was back 3 times because I had 3 different trips and 3 different, well, kind of 3 different things I was doing, projects, jobs / projects, whatever. I did a lot of stuff in LA. I mean, just so many different things involved in entertainment industry, graphics, you know, weird stuff. Helped get the Troubadour, you know, back up, you know, from a pay-to-play place into a legitimate club. Did a lot of weird stuff. Had a service bureau with a partner. You know, things like that. Managed talent. Was producing a movie. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Work, you know. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But that first time I was there, yeah, an entire year, it did not rain. The soot, you know, I had a car. The soot on your car, just the buildup of dust and soot and stuff. You know, there were car washes everywhere because that's what you you had to wash your car. It never rained. And there used to be a pop song in the 70s. It never rains in Southern California or something. I don't know, I forget how the tune goes exactly, but you know what I'm talking about if you're old enough. And, and they talk about global warming. It's like, it was hot and dry forever out there. The Dust Bowl in the 30s. 1880s were some of the I listen to the NOAA thing because I'm a gardener and I'm always checking the weather, and they get into records all the time. They'll talk about, certain records. When the high was the highest temperature, and they'll say, yeah, this is the record was 1884, or 18, because unlike what most people don't understand is they think everything existed like when this thing came along, right? The internet. This internet. Hey, what is that internet thing? People are morons. Right? Everything. There was nothing before Wikipedia. They don't know what the Encyclopedia Britannica is or anything, right? Or Funkin' Wagnalls. Or Webster's Dictionary and Thesaurus. What a library really is. People go to a library to use a computer. Right? So they have no idea. They think everything happened in the last, like I was saying yesterday, the last 10 or 15 years. Because these things didn't exist before that. And in their minds, these people out in the streets with their little cardboard signs protesting, right? It's like they don't know there was a civil rights movement and it was successful. There was a feminist movement, Helen Gurley Brown and all that crap, and it was successful. The only problem is it happened 40, 50 years ago. And we all of us who are old enough, we're over it. Okay, you won, good, great. We're all for it, Many of us participated in it. I got it, part of pictures of it in my book. I attended the anniversary rally. I was left leaning when I was younger. I leaned a little right when I was older. And now I don't. Now I'm not a centrist. Now I'm nothing. Now I believe in nothing like that. It's just a corporatocracy. And the world is run by a international crime syndicate. And like I was showing up those cards yesterday, I don't know if I put them in the back, so they're still here or not. Well, it doesn't matter. There's some 75 million people under the age of 17. And that doesn't count like all the waves of immigrants that are coming in, and they're all young, so it's like, that's the future of a country. And they're all totally indoctrinated and brainwashed into this absurd culture, society, whatever, corporatocracy. So forget about, Orange Man sending out an email, save America. And in 2022 or 2024, we'll take it back. What are you taking back? It's already gone. It's already gone. Yeah. It's people are in denial of the fall. You know, like I say, we're reviewing things that we've talked about over the 100 episodes. And I did want to get back to that, but that is two things. It's like the quick thing is, it would be like the Romans trying to say, oh, we're coming back, the Roman Empire, right? Or Spain trying to say, hey, we're going to send some ships to South America and take it back, right? No, man. You were an empire, you conquistadors, you did your genocide, colonial man. It's over now. You lost. This is the former United States. It's done. All right. It's not coming back. It's not coming back. They trampled on everything. It's cemented. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I want to get into this idea of these milestones and why I don't have confetti coming down the screen, because this is our 100th show in a row. It is a milestone in a sense, but what's the significance in the programming of 100 shows? Or like I say, a 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary. I mean, isn't 21 years or 24 years just as important as milestone, or 102 years? See, there's a lot of stuff that's like somehow like built into our bioelectric brains, And I don't want to get too, like I say, woo-woo out there now, but with the Pentagon coming out about saying that these UFOs and all this stuff are real, and that these Navy videos and stuff are true, which should be like major mind blowers to people, right? I mean, this is basically the disclosure that people have been talking about for 50, 70 some years. And so they finally just come out, but because we're in the middle of a plague, and I guess that's why they did it now, because we're in the middle of this so-called plague, right? The endless SARS flu, right? Medical misinformation. I had a test. The test said it was SARS. I was negative. All right. Talk to doctors about it. So they figured, oh, God, we'll just do disclosure during this. Nobody's going to pay attention because they're more focused on that number on the screen, the tally, right? Well, that should freak people out. And then this idea of there's a lot of things that are kind of just built into people. I mean, we look at animals and we see it's built into them. Right. But, but like I say, that not even Darwinian, devotees can explain certain animal behaviors, because it goes beyond any kind of, selective, breeding, survival of the fittest genetic, mutations or something. A cat pawing at the wall to bury something is just illogical. What that means is that that cat was programmed to move that paw in a direction. The cat has no connection with its brain, however limited, that moving that paw, that the purpose of what that paw is doing. It is basically just doing what it was programmed to do. You see? And we humans have things like that too in our bioelectrical brain. But remember, my book Codex and what other people have talked about, many people are studying right now, it's a contemporary field of study, the hard problem of consciousness. And that is the duality of man, this idea of consciousness, soul, whatever you want to call it, and the bioelectric brain, and this android body. That's what's so laughable about the transhumanists and the people that want to merge man with machine. It's like the best machine is already here. And this brain is way beyond any current computer. And you say, oh, well, that's not true. No, of course. There's the majority of people are functionally illiterate walking around. And that's basically through conditioning in the education system, the nanny state, the agenda. They just want to create perfect consumers. I mean, the goal is that the way the corporatocracy and the Davos set, they see us like this. We're just cattle. All right. We're cattle on a farm. For years, we were cattle on a tax farm, and then we were cattle on a consumer farm. But we're still, that's all we are to them. Okay? People don't get that. But so, think about it, man. So transhumanism, right? Well, how do you explain, I showed that Da Vinci photo before, and we could go through Da Vinci's notebooks and stuff like that, where he had plans, centuries and centuries ago of submarines, helicopters. This guy used to write backwards using a mirror, and stuff. Michelangelo, so all the great architects that we don't even know anymore, not to mention the freaking pyramids and the Sphinx from, generations, I don't know. Antediluvian, cultures. So, there's, that's some interesting areas, And so now they got this disclosure coming out while everybody's preoccupied because they're scared of catching a cold. And they decide to come out and say, yeah, UFOs are real. We've been studying them for years. All those wackos that all those people that we humiliated over the, decades. Yeah, they were right. They were on to something. Right. And everybody just goes like, okay, I better, hey, where's my mask? Yeah, we're programmed, man. And these people, these 1,000 people, like this is the key point that puts us all together. And maybe this is going to sound like really weird for some people. And I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me. Because, the truth is, or the search for the truth is what it's all about. And experiencing life, the more you experience life, the more full your life is, and the greater understanding you have about it. So, my thesis, okay, is that so you have this Davos set, this World Economic Forum, in the middle of this great reset. Everybody knows this now. Everybody's talking about it, okay? Doesn't matter where you go. People are trying to say it's a good thing, right? I mean, that's what the mainstream media and the mainstream corporatocracy puppets, politicians are just marionettes of the corporatocracy, right? They're bought and paid for by, big tech, big pharma, military industrial complex, central banking system, Wall Street, That's it. There's the corporatocracy. Pretend they're politicians. There's no elections. They There's no freedom. There's people making stump speeches. They're just nonsense. Nothing's being done. It's a world, international. The world is an international crime run by an international crime syndicate. All right. Heroin trade, human trafficking, things they do. Right. The other thing is, how did this thing spread so much during lockdown to like 190 plus countries? Did you ever think about that? There are so many questions that you're not even allowed to ask because they're the unspeakable. That anyone with a sound, logical brain notification would normally question. So let's get back to the international crime syndicate that runs the world, the Davos set. Okay? You're saying, "What? Oh, that's crazy." No, well, the Davos set. No, these people who meet at Davos, the World Economic Forum. It's a real thing, and Bloomberg covers it. It's a red carpet event. All right? If you're like a Fox Business person, Fox Business covers it. If you're a CNBC, CNBC covers it. All right? Bloomberg, CNBC, Fox Business, and a couple of other lesser known, financial news networks. They cover it. It's the big event of the year. All right? It's the who's who of the billionaire set. The ruling elite of the world go there. They have meetings, presentations, roundtable discussions, and of course, parties. It's a big social event. It's one of the big gatherings of the rich and famous, the powerful, the ruling elite. It's one of their annual things, and it's a red carpet event covered by all the financial networks. Stocks rise and fall the days after because of what comes out of those meetings. But anyway, what it boils down to is there's some people and maybe several thousand of their minions. And there's a planet that's approaching 8 billion or already has 8 billion people on it. So the planet Earth, it's like, let's put this in terms as if you're watching a science fiction movie. But the science fiction movie is real. All right? It's not a science fiction movie. So there are these people. There's 8 billion people on this planet Earth, which, by the way, is like, and I've shown it before, which is a junk planet. All right? They destroyed this planet. These are so-called environmentalists. I'm going to show you something. I've shown it before, but I'll show it again. It's taking forever to show this thing. Let's see. Daily slides. Earth junk. Okay. Now, camera. Look at the monitor, please. This is the planet Earth. This is where you live. Do you remember when you were a kid or you watched things and they say the Earth is a big blue marble, or the picture from Apollo 11 of the Earth from the moon? Well, that was a real picture. And the Earth used to be a big blue marble. This is what it is now. Let's close in there. They're satellites. It's space junk. If you're coming to this planet from Alpha Centauri or Sirius, this is what you see. You don't see a big blue marble anymore. That's what the Davos set did to your to your world. That's the world we live on. And Elon Musk is putting up ridiculous amounts of more of these things in low Earth orbit so people get 5G or something. And they call themselves like they care about the planet. Well, you just destroyed I mean, you know, that's like the Save America campaign that these people are putting out right now. Save the planet? You already made the planet a junk heap in space. You know, it looks like it's like a landfill in space. That's not bull, man. That's it. That's it. And they're adding to it all the time. They're just such hypocrites. But here's the thing. So there's this planet, okay? It's called planet Earth. They call it Earth. The people who live there is the Earthers, right? And these Earthers are ruled. There's 8 billion Earthers. And they're ruled by some group of like 1,000 some people. 8 billion people are letting 1,000 people rule them. It's even like in the United States. You know, you got what? So many congressmen, so many senators, right? And some various bureaucrats, a couple dictatorial governors. Mr. Governor, you know, you don't really have mayors anymore. You have mayors in a couple of the major cities, but most of them now have these like hired guns, you know, hired people that do their bidding. They call them city managers and stuff like that, right? That's how the country really works, right? County commissioners are probably the most corrupt of all. People do not know how things really are. Everything you know is wrong. And what you don't know, you don't know. I sell those shirts. You can also get them on hoodies. You can get them on bags to go shopping with. You could get them on female tank tops. You know, whatever you want, right? Baseball type shirts. You know, cool stuff. Summer's coming up. People wear shirts. Get something. Get them, wear them, let people see it. You know? So people start questioning this absurdity that's going on here. This planet is being ruled. We're being like ruled over. Like, who are they? You know, they erased David Icke. Maybe they are reptilian aliens. Right? Yeah, that freaks people out. You know? But you know, with the Pentagon coming out and saying that you know, UFOs are real and it's, you know, I mean, well, then maybe Icke was right. David Icke. You know, that to me, that's like, this is one of the most absurd things in the world, what's going on right now. That we're being ruled over an entire planet by a bunch of hypocritical, evil liars, an organized crime syndicate corporatocracy, right? That have as their goal, that don't care anything about us, and that all we are to them are cattle. It's all we are. And if you believe in anything other than that, you are one of the functionally illiterate. There is no other way to look at it. Right?
Why are you telling us this?
Because it's the truth, man. That's why I'm telling you this.
Hey, it's me. How you doing, man?
I don't know how I'm doing. It's aggravating, I'll tell you. But I'm free and it's a beautiful day and it's going to be a nice day. And actually 2 days in a row, because originally it was going to be cloudy. But according to my multiple sources of weather, which, like I say, never take my word for it or one person's word for it, It's going to be sunny all day. It's going to be 82 degrees. I got to get out there when this show's over and water before that sun heat hits in. This is great. So turn off your TVs. Stop replying and commenting on Twitter. Get away from this thing. Just don't even take it with you. When I go out in the backyard, I don't take it with me. No. I don't take it upstairs at night when I go to bed. I leave it downstairs here next to my computer. Because to me, it's just a tool. Just a tool. That's all it is. We do something funky here. See if we can go inside the machine, see the ghost in the machine somehow. It's hard to do that. Doesn't do well with colors. The weird lighting. I don't know why. Yeah, so, it's pretty fascinating when you think about it. I overdrank my caffeine today. Said I was going to cut down. Excuse me. I ended up drinking, let's see, how many ounces are in this thing? Yeah. I might have cut down like a couple ounces. I filled it to the brim, so I had to lean down and slurp, because if I would have tried to pick it up, it would have just spilled. All my ice cubes have melted. Why don't ice cubes last longer? It's not that hot in here. I mean, it's not even hot at all. Is it the harmful radiation that's melting the cubes? Think about it. They are in the Wi-Fi 5G is in like the microwave range. Do you know that? Studies in the UK have shown that people who talk on their phones like this all the time will inevitably end up with brain tumors. Those things are hidden. There's countless studies about that. Guys wear, people put them in their pants and stuff. They reduce their sperm count. Yeah. Technology. Electromagnetic radiation is harm, according to an official, scientific device, is in the harmful range, right where I am right now. Well, what am I going to do? I'm a cancer patient, right? So what? Everything gives you cancer. The two leading causes of death in the United States. Number one is heart disease, right? Which has killed more than this thing. I don't know if I should put that in there. That was an interesting, powerful. It's killed more than the thing. Especially when you factor in that, further down the list of the CDC's list, because I'm quoting the CDC right now. Diabetes and certain pulmonary things throws that way over the top. But when they lock people down, we've said this over the 100 episodes, that what did they keep open? The type of places that either delivered or you could go pick up artery clogging food, so they could keep the number one leading cause of death up, which is also one of the number one leading profit centers of big med, which we didn't really talk about. People don't really think about that. The second leading cause of death in the U.S. is cancer, right? It's a close second, right? And that's also $1 billion industry. That's all part of big med, right? So they can like have, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the average person is like clueless about any of this stuff. They really don't know. They don't get it. YouTube just like, for the sake of it, somehow re-upped my mail opened and showed me that I'm on YouTube Live. Just because, I don't know, is it their way of saying, hey, you're careful. You're getting into areas you shouldn't be getting into. I mean, who knows? They listen to everything you say. You know that. Because the moment you go look somewhere, you'll get an email about something you said. Not something you searched for, something you said. How's that possible? And there's people out there, and these stupid YouTube millionaire posers who are like pushing these hide your IP address, make it seem like you're surfing from another country, pay such and such dollars a month, get your first month free if you use our code. It's like they know where you are. Right? They know where you are. Because I see these YouTube millionaires, they're constantly buying stuff. And they've got Amazon boxes in the background. Right? And they're buying cars and they're buying this and they're buying that. They got bank accounts. They got credit cards. They got debit cards. All right? They got to pay their utility bills, some of them. Even the homesteaders have got some kind of like satellite internet service or some stupid thing like that. You're tracked. They all got cell phones, smartphones. Do you ever notice that the chip in your on your ATM and credit card is exactly the same as the chip in your cell phone? You probably never looked at the chip in your cell phone. Right? It's the exact same thing. So basically, your debit card is the same as your cell phone. It could be triangularized, right? They know everything about you. I've talked about this over the 100th episodes. When you go shopping in a store and you pay with your debit or credit card, they not only track, first of all, they know everything you bought. Okay, so much for that. They know you were there, what time, all right, what neighborhood, what store. You don't see it, but there's photos of you being taken, video or still photos. And whoever the person is behind you and the person in front of you is also tracked and put into your little packet, your data packet, just in case they happen to be an associate of yours or something like that. Right? And then, of course, it's either GPS or they use, 3 cell towers to find your location. Both. They have both. And then, of course, satellites, are so sophisticated now. So they know everything about you. I once showed some relatives a satellite photo from public satellite, of their street, of their house, circled it, sent them into an email, and they were in denial. He said, no, that's not. I said, no, that's your house, man. And that's from a public satellite. And it's close enough to tell that there was, their car was in their driveway. Now, do you imagine what, and this is years ago, 20 years ago, when I used to just play around, when I was playing around with the internet. Now, do you imagine the satellite technology today? They basically could look in your house and see you through your roof. They know where you are at any given time. They know everything about you. They know more about you than you know about yourself because you don't think about the things you do. It's like why people go to a psychiatrist sometimes or talk to a friend about talk out something because they want to they know more about you than you know about yourself. Everything you buy, everywhere, everything you go, everyone you talk to, everything you say. Excuse me, there are patents now being taken out that have to do with reading your mind, thoughts, your bioelectric brain, making sense of those brain waves. Like Elon Musk's, putting this thing, drilling a hole in your brain and connecting it. Yeah. It's a brain wave. It's just all waves. It's a matter of interpreting the waves and the more processing power you have. But I wanted to get back to Da Vinci, and I was trying to say that the idea that computers and computing are the answer, technology is the answer, isn't. See, these android bodies that we are, our consciousness is basically connected to, right? Temporarily, are far superior than any existing computers that are out there. These savants and people who have photographic memories and total recall, that goes way beyond any machine capability. And the reason being is that it's not only the vast amount of data storage, right, that these savants and photographic memory people have, but it's on top of that is the ability, the left right brain, correlations and processing that could be done with that. And I'm not talking about those who are handicapped savants, because there are those people. Some people have a handicap, but they also happen to have a savant. They're considered a savant. There's a nasty word phrase they use. I'm not going to use it because it's not right. But there are just savants. And many people have photographic memories. In other words, everything they see, they take in is still there. And they could tell you paid that thing on page 422, line 3. They could just from memory read it to you. Total recall. So why are we messing with computers and machines when we're not even dealing with, the power of this android body at this point? It sounds sci-fi to a lot of people, they just don't want to they don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. But, it's real, it's reality,
Did you accidentally inject yourself with some kind of psychotropic agent?
No. And that's not even the answer. You don't even need the psychotropic agents. Better living through chemistry, through technology. That's always been my, one of the things that I always felt, disappointed in mankind was that it's totally ignorance about its own brain, and that they're and pushing things towards reliance on technology, and the rise of the machine. Because that's what this is, the rise of the machine, where something that didn't exist 10 or 15 years ago has suddenly become the center of everything, and how people now can be so easily programmed, right? The nanny state and the school systems of indoctrination and conditioning, and then propaganda by the media, and as people are controlled. And so we end up with a couple of thousand people ruling the planet Earth, literally. I mean, there's no other way to get around it or say it, right? You get. I use this again, just recap some of these episodes we've had. This President Xi guy in China, communist China, the CCP, right? Their little communist Congress type group, and he's their front man. Well, he's ruling dictatorially over 1.5 billion people. Okay, some dude, and then this Congress they put together. But the CCP, it's like, they all walking on eggshells. They're disappearing people all the time. They actually have concentration camps, gulags, right now in communist China, and they have something called the social credit score. That if you have speak, or do something, even jaywalk, right, you lose your ability to do a certain thing. And if you go too far off the rails, you're disappeared. So if one man and a little group of people can rule over 1.5 billion people, do you understand? There's like 1,000 some people that are ruling over 8 billion people that are running this planet. This country, it's the same thing. It's a corporatocracy. Big tech has decided that there is no First Amendment, no Fourth Amendment, right? The Constitution doesn't mean anything. And nobody's challenged it. Oh, people have challenged it, but the courts, because the courts are either owe their allegiance to political, they're either political appointees or to political donors, right? There's two ways you get judges. They're either elected, and so they have campaign contributors who they have their allegiance to, or they're either appointed by politically. And you could pretend that these people are like justice is blind, blah, blah, blah. But we've seen just in the past couple of years, they decide, "Ah, we're not going to hear that. Hey, this is a First Amendment problem right now. Oh, we're not going to hear that case." They pick and choose whatever they want to. They're part of the corporatocracy. The Congress, the Senate, the representatives in the Senate, they're all bought and sold, man. They give some good speeches and they go around TV. They get paid money and this, that, the other. They're just trying to appeal for campaign contributions so they could keep their lush lifestyles. Most people in Congress are multimillionaires. But before they went in, they were just nobodies. Right? Nobodies. People don't get it. This country is run by a corporatocracy. That corporatocracy answers to is part of an organized crime syndicate that's basically a series of corporatocracies, all right, around the globe that are in league with dictators and like the communist Chinese, and that they meet at Davos. Remember, Xi from China, the communist, right, spoke. I showed that picture of him at this year's World Economic Forum where they're talking the Great Reset. He's part of the club, right? People don't understand that. It's an international crime syndicate. And that's what these shows have been all about. That's what these 100 shows have been all about. So if there's any takeaway that you can, get from having watched this stuff, all right, it's to understand that. Get it through your head, man. There's a couple thousand people running this world, and it's and unfortunately, it's an organized crime syndicate. And who knows who or what they are? Yeah, what they are. Like, what's in those Vatican archives? Why are they hiding that information from mankind? What do they know? Right? Right? What's in that stuff? What's so secretive? Right? Is it the truth about, and why'd they sneak out disclosure about UFOs and stuff like that? Inquiring minds want to know. What's going on right now is this particular time, this juncture, as we approach this micronova that eventually, probably within the next 20 years, may just be an extinction event. Okay? As we approach this, there's some crazy stuff going on. My only, not hope, but that, these guys have all these underground shelters, stuff. They'll end up being buried in a couple miles of ice. They'll never get out.
Okay.
No, that's not funny.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Yeah, well, they'll do that.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy 100th. Let me pull this thing out. Get some. Right. Get your Ph.D., get your doctorate, and frame it in some expensive glass frame that's about 5 times the size of this, and put it on your wall. Let people know. TonyCaravanLive.com.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
TonyCaravanLive.locals.com. GreatSolarStuff.com. We don't need that anymore. This show is ending. Where we go from here, who knows what the next chapter in this adventure of the mind will be. Time will tell. It's a beautiful day here. I hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are. Have a great one. Cheers. Peace.